Anxiety. Do you suffer from panic attacks, shortness of breath, can't breathe, can't swallow, can't think straight? Throat closes up, chest closes up, maybe your toes cramp up, or your hands, maybe your whole body cramps up. Don't want to go out and be social, dread family occasions, dread going to work, dread going to school. Whatever it might be, are you suffering? And has this ever happened to me, you might be wondering? Yes, it has. But I learnt a lot, and I actually got over it. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I appreciate that there are a lot of videos out on YouTube, how to overcome anxiety once and for all, how to prevent your next panic attack. A lot of them work, a lot of them don't. Some things work for some, other things work for others, but the truth is not one thing is going to work for everybody. However, the reason I'm making this video is because everyone I've spoken to about my story and about my technique to overcome anxiety, they've always said that I've never heard about that approach before. I would never think that approach would work. And I've never heard of someone curing their anxiety with that approach before. That's very interesting. So that's what's inspired me to kind of make this video, because people have said that I'm going to start applying that to my life, because that's the last thing I'd expect to do. Now, sometimes just talking about anxiety can set off an attack. I appreciate that. So feel free to forward to the end of the video, or what I'll do is in the comments I'll actually put the time when I start talking about how I fixed it, so that you can just skip ahead to that. But as I say, chances are if you're watching this, you've got anxiety yourself, so maybe you'll be able to relate to a lot of what I talk about, and maybe you'll find some comfort in knowing that you're not alone. Because the worst part about anxiety for me was I thought I was alone through it. I thought I was the only person in the world who suffered. And it's not the case. It's really not the case. A lot of people suffer from anxiety. Most people suffer from anxiety. But it comes in different levels. Some people are very extreme. Other people, it's just here and there. So I appreciate you listening to my story. And I really hope I can help you. I think I can help you. I'm confident. I think that we can get through this together. So my first anxiety attack was in 2009. I was always very anxious before this. Never really wanted to go on like school trips, or I didn't really like big social events, but I never had an anxiety attack. But it was New Year's Eve, and me and my family were watching a program called EastEnders. Or it might have been New Year's Day, I can't remember, but it was around New Year's. And like that, I suddenly couldn't breathe. But like literally couldn't breathe. Like my throat closed up, my chest closed up. I physically couldn't breathe. And it's a very scary thing, because it feels like you've had an allergic reaction to something. A million things go through your mind, but the main thing is you think you're going to die, especially on your first one. You really think you're going to die. So like most people, I took myself away from the situation. I just left the room and I went upstairs. I actually went into this room, which is my mum's room, and I just sat on the bed and I tried to deal with it. Nothing helped. Eventually my mum came up and said, "What's wrong?" I couldn't even talk at this point. Burst into hysterics, and she was with me, rubbing my back. "It's going to be okay, it's going to be okay." And I heard worry in her voice, and that freaked me out even more. Genuinely thought I was going to die. Asking her, call her an ambulance, or she said, no, it's fine, you're having a panic attack. And I freaked out. It lasted a few hours. And you'll know, especially after your first attack, you are exhausted afterwards. You are so tired, physically, mentally, spiritually, you are just drained. But it did pass. I didn't think it would. I thought that was it. I thought that was me gone. I'm going to die here. And it was a horrible, horrible night. But it passed, as they always do. And I just went to bed completely confused. And unfortunately for me, that triggered something in my brain. Every single day after that attack, I had one. Every day I had an anxiety attack. And again, unfortunately for me, they didn't last 20, 30 minutes. They were hours and hours and hours at a time. and they would get worse. Like, you'd feel it coming on, and it was like, great, that's me for the next 4 hours, 5 hours. The worst one lasted 14 hours. It was a whole day thing. But basically I had one every single day, and school became hideous after that. It was awful. School was just terrible for me. But as you can probably relate, when you start having anxiety attacks every day or once a week or once a month, whatever it might be, they always come when you least want them to come, right? So you're about to go to a wedding, or you're about to go out for a family meal, or you're going to school, or you've got an important test. What happens? It starts hitting you again. You start sweating. For me, my fingers started cramping up. Very lightheaded, starting to sweat, shaking. Oh God. People are starting to look at me. Oh. You know. What's he like? You alright, George? Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. No, you're not. It's like, no, I'm fine. So I had to start taking myself out of the situation, because my biggest fear, I had two fears: dying and people recognizing that I was suffering. I hated causing a fuss. Now, some of you out there, it's probably lighting up in your brain. Oh my goodness, I can relate to that. I hate causing a fuss as well. It's horrible getting all that attention, that people like, look, George can't breathe. George can't. You're right. You know, you just don't need that. You want to be by yourself. You want to just sweat it out, get it out your system, and then carry on with your day. But I would have one every single day, and I would have to excuse myself. So I would go to the teacher and I would just lie through my arse. I would say, I feel ill. I need to go and do this. I need to go and do that. I used to go for it. I'd be like, I've got a meeting with Mr. Andrews at 12, so I need to be excused from the lesson. And they were just like, oh, okay, cool. And for some reason, I did this for years and I was never caught. No one ever said, oi, I spoke to Mr. Andrews earlier and you never went to see him. I got away with it. But what I would do is I'd sit in the toilet and I'd lock the door. And me and the toilet were like that. We were bros. It was my safe haven. And I would just sit there and suffer. But it helped a little bit to know that I was on my own. No one was looking at me. No one was pointing the finger or asking me questions, because it went round the school, you know. And I'm sure for you guys watching, it might go around the office place, or you might be very open. You might be like, yeah, guys, I have anxiety, so you just have to excuse me. Let me do my thing. I'm going to lie on the ground, or I'm going to sit in the corner, or I have to go home. And that's fine. Everyone's got their way. But because I was so young, I just didn't want to make a fuss. So I'd sit in the toilet, but then the only thing that really helped was actually going home, just being at home. My mum was very supportive, bless her. And I would just get sent home for all sorts. You know, I feel sick, I've got a headache, I feel like I'm going to faint. I used to pretend to be sick as well. I would drink water and spit it on the floor, and I'd tell my teacher, I'd say, I've just been sick. And then I'd get sent home, and my mum would sit me down. She'd, oh goodness, you've been sick. It's, Mum, I had a panic attack, you know. The more I got sent home, the more my mum got, it stressed her out. And I'm sure you can relate to that as well. Family members not really understanding it. Like, oh, come on, it's been 2 years, or it's been whatever. And it's like, just, we need to get you over this. So I started to see multiple therapists, and, you know, bless them, but they didn't help. They tried to help. I appreciate their efforts. They might be able to help some people, but for me, it didn't help at all. If anything, it made it worse, because I had an anxiety attack before I went to see them. But they would sit me in a room and they'd watch me have anxiety, and they'd be like, okay, like, what's he doing? What's he not doing? And the whole time you're just sat there thinking you're going to die, and it's a horrible experience. But I did that. I did paper bags. I went to the doctor. I got an inhaler. I went to a woman who asked God what essential oils I need, and she would put them together, and I'd rub it on my chest at night, and those essential oils would, open up my airways and stuff. But it never helped. And actually, just the smell, like just anything that came back to breathing, freaked me out even more. So that didn't help. Nothing helped. I tried everything and nothing helped. And that was a dark time when I realised nothing works. Right? Nothing works. I'm telling you, nothing works for me. These are so severe, I physically can't breathe. My hands are cramping up, my toes are cramping up. I'm sweating, I'm shaking, I feel like I'm going to pass out. Sometimes I want to pass out just so I can wake up and it'll be gone. So before I tell you how I cured it, I remember the peak when I said to myself, enough's enough. And it was the time when I had an attack for 14 hours. It started just before school. I had it all throughout school, all through my lessons, all through my lunch. And then usually it got a bit better when I went home, because that was my safe zone, right? And for you, it might get better when you're with a friend. It might get better when you're with your partner. It might be better when you're just away from everyone. But for me, it only got better when I was at home and I could just sit on my Xbox or go on the computer and just kind of distract my brain. It's like, I'm here, my mum's downstairs. If I have an attack, she'll be there, and all the rest. So the worst one I had was at school, 14 hours. And I remember walking home and it was really bad. And I was sorry, I'm messing up my words here. It's quite hard. But so it was, my last period was French. And I remember being sat there like, can't breathe. And then I would try and take a deep breath and my breath and my lungs would go like that. Sorry. And I thought to myself, this is ridiculous. I've had all the tests. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't have asthma. But I can't breathe, man. I can't breathe. What's happening? And I walked home and I got on the train and it was so bad on the train. I really thought I was going to pass out. And then I got in my mum's car and normally it would go from 100% bad to about like 80% bad. I'd feel it drop. Bit better. I got in my mum's car and it didn't drop. It was the same. If anything, maybe it was a bit worse. And I was like, oh crap. And I went home and I got home and it was still bad. And I freaked out and again came up here and my mum looked after me and was like freaking out herself. And I was like, I've had this for 14 hours. What? Who else does this? Who else goes through this? Whenever I looked up like panic attack stuff, it was always like you have one and then it goes and it's like a 20-minute thing. 14 hours. How am I going to get a job? How am I going to get a girlfriend? How am I going to live life? How am I going to go out for a drink with a mate? How am I going to get through my GCSEs? Because I'm in year 11 at this point. I'm in year 11. So I'm about 15, 14, right? I'm like, what? So that was the turning point. That was when I'd had enough. I completely had enough. And it was the next day when I discovered my cure. I went to school. I was knackered, by the way. I had like the worst attack I'd ever had in my life the day before. Next day, got on the train, went to school, got to school. I was in a lesson, I can't remember what it was, let's just say it was maths. And it came on again. So, here we go. Go on then, let's go. Give me your best shot. Right there. Bring it on. Let's go. Let's go. What haven't you done before? Give me your worst. 14 hours? Pfft. Mate, let's go for 16. Nah, let's go for 24. Keep me up all night. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Hurry up. Let's get it over with. You're taking your time. Pfft. That's better. There you go. There you go. That's more like it. Come on. Let's get it going. Mate, I can still move my toes. I can still move my toes. Oh, come on. I can still breathe. Stop me from breathing. Stop it. Just kill me. Kill me. Do it. Let's go. Kill me right now. Mate, kill me. I'm telling you, kill me. Let's go. Close my lungs. Close my throat. Have me die in front of all these people. I don't care if people look anymore. Let's go. Finish me off. You've been tormenting me for years. You've been ruining my life every single day. You've literally made my life hell. Let's go. Finish what you started. My fingers, cramp them up. There you go. Hey, that's more like it. Cramp. There you go. Finally. Bloody, that took you some time. That took you some time. All right, let's go. Close my lungs. Close my lungs. Close my lungs. All right, look. Let's go to the toilet. Hi, Miss. Can I I just need to see Mr. Andrews because I've got a meeting. Okay, fine. You all right? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah. All right. Sit on the toilet. Let's go. Kill me. Kill me. Let's go. Kill me. Let's go. Come on. And that was it. Slowly my fingers went like this. My breathing stabilised. I was lightheaded. I felt like crap. But it didn't kill me. That's why it was so powerful, because I thought it had the power of killing me. And that's why I was always like, just control it, just control it. If you get out of control, you're going to die. Don't lose control because you're going to die. Now I was asking it to kill me. I was like, do your worst. I turned the other cheek. The way I describe it is, if you're getting punched in the face every day, you got to find some humour in it after a while. Every day. Then you turn up and you say, you're going to punch me in the face? Knock my teeth out. Do it. You didn't knock them out. I detached myself from the anxiety. I treated it like another person. I treated it like my evil stepbrother that beat me up every day. And I was like, do your worst. The more I challenged it, the more I laughed at it, the more humour I found in the situation, the better it got. It went away eventually, like it always does. Lasted hours, lasted the whole day. Went home, did my thing. Next day, go to school, came on again. Let's go, let's go. Ruin my GCSEs, ruin my life, kill me, let's go. Come on, just get it over with. This is embarrassing. For your standard, this is embarrassing, mate. Let's go, let's go. I was like, let's go. I fought back. Let's go, come on. And it wasn't as bad. Because I wanted it to be worse. Say it again. I wanted it to be worse than it was. I'd go to a family meal. I'd be eating. Can't swallow, my throat's closing up. Oh no. Everyone's going to look at my plate and be like, George, aren't you hungry? He's not hungry. Oh, you're skinny enough as it is. What's wrong? Are you okay? What's wrong? Why can't you talk? Are you crying? What's wrong with George? Chairs squeaking. What's wrong with George? Close my throat. Let's go. Go on. Close my throat in front of all these people. It'll be brilliant. It'll be hysterical. It hasn't happened before. Let's go. Close my throat. You're not closing my throat. Why aren't you closing my throat? Let's go. You're not hungry, George? Nah, not really. To be honest, I don't feel great, but, it's fine. Let's go. Deep breathing. Yeah, it's coming on. There's the hands. There's the hands. Good. Can't open them. Perfect. Nice. Oh, I'll tell you what. Why don't you give me jaw lock so I can't open my jaw? Let's go. Lock my jaw. Lock it. Lock it. Let's go. Lock it. Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. I wanted it to be worse. And because I wanted it to be worse, the current situation that I was in felt better. It was a terrible situation, but it felt better. I had a small element of control, right? I had control for the first time because I wanted it to be worse than it was. And after a while, and when I say a while, I mean weeks and weeks and weeks, when these anxiety attacks would hit me, I'd be like, this doesn't faze me anymore. This is nothing I haven't been through before. Do your worst. 14 hours? Is that it? Let's go for 24. Let's go. I wanted it. I wanted it. No one wants an anxiety attack. Hence why we suffer for the rest of our lives with it. When you want it, when you ask for it, you won't get it as bad as you did previously, because you actually want it to be bad. I appreciate this is a crazy method, but guess what happened to me? Just before my GCSEs, which I thought were going to be ruined because of my anxiety went away completely. I would feel it brewing, but it never manifested. It was just there subtly, and I was like, let's go. I was in warrior mode. I was in fight mode. I was like, it's you versus me. You know that my greatest fear in life right now is dying from an anxiety attack. But guess what? You can't kill me. You can't kill me. We both know you can't kill me. You can make me pass out. You can make me feel terrible. You can make me go to bed. You can make my throat close. You can make my chest close up. You can make me feel absolutely terrible. But you can't kill me. And I want you to. I want you to just finish this. This isn't a life. I'm not living. How am I going to do anything with this? Just kill me. Then I realised it couldn't kill me, so I gained some control back. And little by little, it went away. Because I realised I'd created this. So I had the power to destroy it, to finish it. I was in control, me, not it. I separated myself. It was something else. It came on and I fought. I said, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, fine. Sometimes I'd be like, you're more powerful. You can kill me. So do it. It never could. And I found a sense of humour in that. I was like, let's go. We both know you can't kill me. Try it. It's hysterical. The way that you try and kill me is hysterical. You try and convince me that I can't breathe, but I can. You have no power over me. It's pathetic. It's so embarrassing what you're trying to do to me right now. It's so embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself. Why don't you just leave? Why don't you just leave? You've had your fun. You've had your time. Just leave. And over time, it just went away. And it's a liberating feeling. It's not always that easy. And I'm not saying it was easy. It took a long time. And it took me... I had to get to an extremely dark place. Guys, I had to get to a point where I actually wanted to die from it. I know that sounds really extreme and horrible, and I never want you to get to that place. I never want you to get to that place. I'm not saying that you should. I'm telling you my story. And I'm telling you, if you embrace it, right? If you embrace it, so detach yourself from it, think of it as something else, give it a name, give it an identity. It's a real thing. It's not fake. There's something in your brain making your lungs close up, right? Talk to it, acknowledge it, treat it like a real thing. And when it comes, have a fight. Have a humorous fight. Do your worst. Tell it to do its worst. Tell it to do its worst. Do it. What's your biggest fear? Is it dying from it? Maybe not. Is it everyone watching? Maybe. Is it lasting all day? Is it your manager finding out, or whatever it is, right? Tell it to do it. Let's go. Let's go. And what you'll find is that the more you apply this approach, the more you'll realize that actually you've got the power now. You've gained your power back. Because it's now you telling it to do something it isn't capable of doing. It can't kill you, I promise. It feels like it can, but it can't. I promise you it can't harm you. It just feels like it's harming you. So, the best thing that you can do now is accept this anxiety, give it a name, befriend it, challenge it, humour it. See how pathetic it is. Ask it to do its worst and see what happens. I know it's horrible. Believe me, I know how horrible it is. Not being able to breathe. It's the worst feeling in the world. But then it has you. If you ask it to do something worse than that, and the only thing worse than that is dying, then it's going to show its true colours. Of course, I appreciate there are many forms of anxiety, and some things work, some things don't. Some people get anxiety where it's just like general anxiety, like standing up on stage or whatever it might be. But when it's like a severe panic attack, they can hit hard. So this is what I want you to just practice. Realizing that it's in your head. You created it. Whether you want to admit it or not, you created it through no fault of your own. But you created it. And you can get rid of it. Challenge it. Bring it on. Let's go. Gloves on. Let's fight. Let's literally fight to the death. And the more you do that, the more you'll realize it's weak and it doesn't have power over you, and that you have your power. You gain your power back. You're in control. You can do it. You can. You can do anything you put your mind to. How bad do you want to be cured? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to get rid of it? I'm never going to get rid of it, George. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You really think that I had a 14-hour panic attack and thought I would be able to get over it? Not in a million years. I thought this is me now forever. Destined for misery. But look at me now, 10 years free. I don't even get anxious. My palms don't sweat. It's a distant memory. It's a dream. It's a battle that I won. It took me a long time. Might take you 10 years. Might take you a decade. Might take you most of your life. Or it might take you a few months, a few weeks, maybe even just a few tries. And the moment you figure out, actually, I have power, and it doesn't, life becomes better. Life becomes easier. You might not cure it fully. But you might find its weaknesses. And once you do that, life starts going uphill. Thank you so much for spending, half an hour with me. I hope this helped. I hope you gained something from it. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. I know it's a horrible thing to realise that you've actually got to fight, but it worked for me. Whether or not it'll work for you, I don't know. But what I do know is that everyone I know who has anxiety, they're terrified of it. I was terrified of it. Once you start laughing at it and fighting it and realising that it's a joke, it's hysterical what's it doing to you. It's hilarious. It's trying to convince you that you can't breathe. Of course you can breathe. You'll never stop breathing. You might pass out. but you'll still be breathing. It feels good to breathe. Life is fantastic. Don't worry. It's going to be all right. Take your time with it. Enjoy the ride. No one's life's perfect. Some people have it worse. Some people have it better. It's not about comparing. It's your journey, your life. Fight it. It's in here. It's not out there. It's in here. You can fight it. You can gain back control. Let's go. Let's have it. Let's go. Bring it on. Let's fight. Is that all you can do? Is that it? Let's go. More. Give me more. More. Cramp my hands up. You can't do it, can you? You can't do it. You're doing... That's nothing. That's nothing. Let's go. Turn my hand into a fist. Let's go. Weaknesses. Can't do it. Let's go. Fight. Be brave. Be strong. You can do it. You can do it. I know you can. You know you can. It hasn't killed you. It won't kill you. It never will. It lies. It constantly lies. The truth is, it's nowhere near as strong as you think. You're just scared of it. Laugh at it and see what happens. Thank you for watching. Please let me know how you get on. Leave a comment. Everything's going to be alright, I promise. 14 hours, baby. And now there's nothing. Nothing. I'm out. I'm on stage. I am training people. I am in crowds. I am eating in crowds. I am running around, and I'm loving life. Anxiety is a thing of the past. It's your time to shine. Believe in yourself. You are stronger than anything you can create. Because you created it. You can destroy it. You are God to it. Sending you love, sending you light, sending you peace. But most of all, sending you strength. Mental strength. You've got it. God bless.